Today on the show, what do you do when your parents want to have the talk? And the talk is that they are deconstructing their faith.
I think that AirPods are a great invention and that they are destroying the fabric of society. We'll talk about it.
Sorry, Josh, I interrupted you. And half of young people are still living with their parents. Is that good news or bad news? Or are we going to turn it into a conspiracy theory today?
We sure are, buddy. All this and more on episode 22 of the Blimey podcast. Jordan, I've got a video to show you that is as funny as it is terrifying. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blimey Cow podcast. Every Friday, we try to make the world a little less messy. My name is Josh.
I'm Jordan, and today we want to say thank you so much to our supporters at supportblimeycow.com for making this show possible. And a huge shout out, Josh, to Jen, who became a supporter this week.
Thank you,
with
Jen.
2 N's.
Thank you, Jen, with 2 N's. Check out the Clips channel. Everything you love about the podcast without the time commitment. We have over 550 subs, well on our way to 1,000, so we can start making that dozens of dollars.
Yes.
YouTube.com/@BlimeyCowClips.
This week's question of the week is, Josh, I came up with this in the car.
Genius.
Would you rather be a prodigy genius at one thing that you don't like, or average at 5 things that you love?
That's actually a really tough question.
It is. I don't know the answer. I tried to stump myself. I don't know the answer to that one.
Because if you were a prodigy genius, you would be able to make money, but you'd be making money doing something you didn't like doing.
And then you were average at 5 things that you love. Maybe you can't make money from it, but you're average at it and you like doing it.
All right, we'll talk about that next week.
Comment below your answer to that.
Let's get to our top stories.
My top story this week, Josh, is, everybody knows I've been doing this underground doghouse. It's just taking forever. Okay, the rain has come in. It really slowed my progress. But I finally went out there again and started to build what is called the header.
Okay.
The 2 walls that go on either side of the doghouse door, I need to connect them. But there's empty space there, so you can't just put blocks in the
can't do
air.
that.
So you have to basically make this huge concrete block that spans the distance of the door. And then you can then lay block next to that, and then on top of that to just have it be like one continuous wall. So I framed out with my neighbor. We framed out the concrete block, and then I have to pour that. I was gonna do it this morning, but the rain. You never know if it's gonna hail out here.
This is annoying weather. Wow. So hopefully you get to do that.
I know.
Here shortly.
I know.
Is that the last step?
Well, that's the hardest step. After that, it's just smooth sailing. After that, I just lay the block going down across it,
And then it's done?
and then it's done.
You gonna paint it or anything?
No.
Are you gonna have a big video showing all of this when you're done?
I have filmed every step of the process.
I can't wait to
Every
see
single
this.
step.
I can't wait to see this.
Who knows how long that's going to take me to edit. It could take me no time at all to edit because I'm so excited to edit it.
It's gonna take you forever.
You're
You're gonna love editing it, and it's gonna take you forever to edit. Our second top story is that we have revamped our website at long last. We've been talking about it forever, and
Looks
we
great.
finally just did it. Blimeycow.com. It's done. Now you can
it's
go
great.
there. In fact, even today, I figured out exactly how to set it so that when we have an embed of a video, it's just the playlist, so it'll auto-update on its own. So now when you go to the blimeycow.com front page, you'll just see whatever our most recent videos are on the podcast, Christian Meme Review, Clips channel, whatever else, messages, all of it.
And people can ask messages on there. They can send in memes.
Yes. They can do
everything.
And you can learn about us.
Yes.
You can find all of our old playlists and stuff for old eras, old series. So there you go. Okay? Go check it out.
Very good.
Blimeycow.com. Let's get
question of the week.
question of the week.
So last week we asked the question, would you rather ride a bike for 150 miles or run 26.2 a full marathon? Josh, we forgot to do a poll.
Yeah, sorry.
Which is unfortunate. But which did you choose? Clearly, I would do 150 miles.
I know.
feel like
Yeah,
that would
I
be-
think
so
I would probably do the run.
Yeah.
Just because that's what I do most of the. I've already done a half marathon, so I might as well do the full.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But it would be fun to go 150 miles on a bicycle, like just for the experience of doing it.
Yeah, I know. You see so much more. I think that's why I like cycling so much.
Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I think I'm going to switch. I'm going to say 150 miles on the bike.
For fun, just for the fun.
Yeah,
nature
well,
of
because when I think about doing both of those things, I think I could casually do one. It would just take me a long time to do. I cannot casually run 26 miles. Unless there was some agreement that I could walk some of the way.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? But yeah, anecdotally, we obviously didn't run the poll, but the comments that I saw, most people said cycling, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They would rather. That makes sense.
The funny thing, I think people, and what you just said, is that you could do it casually. You don't understand
That's a bad word to use.
Well, 150 miles, even if you are doing it casually, would literally, if you did that casually,
Right,
it would take you like 10
yeah,
plus hours, and your butt would hurt so bad. It would be agonizing.
Got one of those like nice padded seats, the big ones.
Yeah, the huge like.
That's what I had
that
for a
Walmart.
while when I had a bike. I was like, this hurts. I'm gonna sit nice and tidy.
I honestly don't think that a lot of people, even casually, would make 150 miles. I think people don't truly understand the massive effort that would be.
Yeah.
I actually think that running 26.2 miles might be easier than even casually riding 150 miles, just for pure timeage. I don't know. It's a question to think about. We have another question for next week. Would you rather be a prodigy genius at one thing that you don't like, or average at 5 things that you love?
That's my favorite question we've ever asked on this show. I genuinely don't know what people are going to say.
I don't either.
I think
Comment below.
Yeah, we'll see. Christian meme review?
Yes.
Jordan, I know you've seen my meme before, but it popped up. Yeah, it popped up, and I hadn't seen it in so long. I just wanted to enjoy it with you. Let's check it out.
Oh my goodness. Becky, look at her Bible. It is so huge.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember this?
She looks like one of those preacher guys' girlfriend. But who understands those preacher guys anyway? They only talk to her because she looks like Mother Teresa. Okay. I mean, but look at it. It's just
This
huge.
was popular before YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
So
What was it posted to?
I don't know.
I like big bubbles and I cannot lie. You Christian brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with a KJV and a bookmark in Proverbs, you get stoked. Got a name engraved so you know this girl is saved. It looks like one
This
of those
was
large ones.
like, you just look back at this time period and you think this was the beginning of the end. Like, it was a great time, but it started it all.
Yeah.
Great time led to a lot of terrible things.
Well,
that viral videos.
there was a time where it was very funny to do Christian parodies of non-Christian songs. And that one was especially funny because the whole point of the song is it's about butts.
Oh, yeah.
So it just was funny. It was like, I could
great.
listen to this song now.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
My brother in Christ, you're at a parking lot. In the middle of the night. There are no women there. They're hiding. They're hiding from guys that make TikToks with their shirt off and use the Lord to manipulate women into getting their Snapchat. Now, if you and the rest of the Thirst Trap Trinity are actually serious about finding a woman of God, I'm going to give you the game plan. I'm going to give you the blueprint. Are you ready? If you want to find a Christian girl, go to church. Just go to church. They're everywhere. Just go to church. Find the one that's worshiping like that. On the other hand, she's putting her left hand up. She wants you to see that there's no ring on it. Go inquire. Have an arranged marriage. Have the pastor orchestrate it that Sunday. I do not care, but guys, I can't take much more of this. I just can't take much more of these videos. I'm running out of patience. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know how you guys are still single. It's been years. Like, I'm seeing the same video recycled over. How are you guys still single? I just can't do it anymore. I can't.
What you say? Oh, that you only been.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Church Chad.
Oh,
for
good
the
stuff.
content.
Okay.
What do we have next? Oh, the message.
Speaking of such things.
Hi, Jordan and Josh. My parents raised my siblings and me in a Christian home. However, now that we are all married and out of the house, they have started to go down the deconstructing their faith route that so many people are doing now. What is the best way to support them while they are on this journey? There was no name attached to this.
No, they don't want. This could be anybody.
It could be literally anybody.
This is the issue. When I first started hearing this come up, I was like, this is cool. People are actually thinking outside the box a little bit. Yeah, so it's good to ask questions. That's the whole point of our channel is don't let people tell you how to think. Think for yourself.
The problem with the word deconstruction, though, is that's not just like my parents are thinking about their faith. It's like they're asking questions about it's more like my parents are like, deconstructing is just that. It's this negative connotation, this negative view of, I know what, anytime I've talked to people and they've told me unapologetically I'm deconstructing something,
right?
They're always thinking, I know that what I learned was wrong. And now I'm just deconstructing it to know why it was wrong.
I've talked to people who used it in not like in that sense, but also you're right.
Yeah.
At the same time. So just to kind of give it the benefit of the doubt, but also yes, that's right. Yeah. And I think the problem now is that it's not like it's fine. It's just when it becomes a personality type. Where that's like what your whole vibe now is. This is what I do now. Like I'm just questioning everything, and it's like, no, you just found a new group of people you're hanging out with.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. You're exactly right. That's the problem, is everything is just influenced by the group of people that you're hanging out with at the time, or who screwed you and made you upset, and now you've realized, oh, well, then I'm just throwing the entire faith away because those people did that to me.
Yeah, I know. That's what. And
that's not faith. That's just a group to hang out with.
Right. We were talking off camera. I was trying to decide if it was okay to say this. It's okay to say this.
Is it?
We'll cut it if not.
That's fine.
The idea, like if you get screwed by a church or whatever, and that makes you were worshiping the people there. You weren't. You know what I mean?
Society. You were worshiping that society, whereas. It's literally exactly like Jesus. Like Jesus, it's not okay. There was no like quote unquote church when Jesus was around, but there was the synagogue. There was this stuff that version of church, and he was screwed by them constantly. And he didn't make him waver. It made him just want to just do the right thing even more. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, well, they're doing this to me. That proves to me that if not saying Jesus having
I knew it.
But you know what I mean, as a human, he's like, okay, this is proof that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And the people, I know that on Earth, if I'm doing the right thing, people are not going to like me.
Yeah.
So I'm confirmed that I'm doing the right thing. It's hard for me to answer questions like this because
I think we had experiences growing up. We've kind of alluded to this before. I think we've had experiences growing up that made us realize that that the idea of God is not compatible with just man on earth and the authority they attempt to hold.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just looking for more power and more control.
Or holding what they have, because of friendships or financial reasons, or they have a dog in the fight, and so they have to. Their whole life, if they were honest and had integrity and were honest about, some of this doesn't necessarily make sense. I don't have all the answers or whatever, and they had to acknowledge that. Well, then. Everything goes out the window to them. It's like, well, then I could be wrong about everything,
right?
And then they're literally deconstructing because they almost should be deconstructing,
and that's why.
And this is the positive factor.
That's what, yeah. And people are gonna seek power, whether it's a church, whether it's a government. People are attracted to that, and they're gonna look for it wherever they can find a level of authority. So that you're gonna find people in positions of power in a church, in a government, in a community. The people that you find in those roles are the ones who want those roles. Now, so that's what makes it so special when you find somebody who's actually somebody worth looking up to in a position of authority. That joke of like, let's just pick some random person and tell them they're the president. We would probably be better off than what we've had over the last several decades. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. How do you help your parents? I don't know. Just
I know.
Like, just tell them. I'd be like, look, it's great to ask questions. Just don't be obnoxious. I don't know.
I know it's hard, and that's the thing. You have to have more information in the message.
Right.
Like, we need to know, what is your parents' attitude towards this? Is it that annoying deconstruct my faith kind of attitude, or is it like genuinely asking questions? Because if it's genuinely asking questions, then you need to support that because, we all need to genuinely ask questions. And if we don't have answers to those questions, we need to find the answers to those questions so that we actually are believing something that's worth believing instead of,
and sometimes the answer to the question is we don't know or we can't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was looking at some kid's book the other day and it was talking about, God is whatever makes you feel loved and safe. And I was like, I don't think I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the old C.S. Lewis quote, God is not safe, but he is good. And then it also reminded me of the As Cities Burn line from that song that says, I don't think God is God if he fits inside our heads. Like, I don't think, if it's just that you don't like who you think, God is not compatible with what you want to do. Okay. Yeah. But that's not God's fault. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a difficult question. Again, I think it literally all comes down to your parents' attitude, and I can't read that through words. So if you can read that and your parents are being annoying, you need to take one path. But if they're not being annoying, don't be scared of trying to answer their questions for them or be a part of that conversation because that's not something that you should hide.
Right, like don't feel threatened.
No,
just because they're asking questions.
Right, because then that can look bad on you. And, and it is bad for you. Not that it would look bad on you, but it's bad for you. You need to be able to take that pressure.
I feel like anytime somebody asks questions and it makes you feel threatened, just about anything, that's a good opportunity to look at yourself and say, okay, why did I have that reaction? I must
feel insecure, basically.
I must feel very insecure about this for some reason. And that can happen very easily when it comes to like questions of faith and that kind of thing. So anyways,
good. I feel like
that okay.
Yeah, we did. I feel like that
all right.
Okay, let's get to what are we at? It gave me hope.
No.
I'm missing an entire page.
What? No, flip it over. I accidentally printed on both sides. Flip it over. I print on both sides of the page.
Oh.
You cannot unsee this.
Yeah.
Just watch this. Just watch this. I'm not even going to prep this.
Is this a new video or what?
Yes, this was released in the last week or so. No. Watch this.
The following is a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg inside the metaverse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in physical space. We appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio.
That's a generation.
It's incredible.
A generation?
It's like it's not really him. It's like a computer model.
Deeply meaningful way on the internet.
That was an intro. Now watch this.
Wow.
Yeah,
look at that.
The light anywhere.
And it doesn't feel awkward to be really close to you.
No, it does. I actually moved you back a few feet before you got into the headset. You were like right here.
I don't know if people can see this, but this is incredible.
That is wild.
The realism here is just incredible.
That is wild.
Where are we?
You're in Austin, right?
No, I mean this place.
Imagine waking up and that's the face you see. Hi.
Ultra realistic face, and it just feels like we're in the same room.
Different people emote to different extents, right? So I think one of the big questions is, like when you smile, how wide is your smile, and how wide do you want your smile to be?
Good questions, Mark.
Mark learns feelings.
That is crazy.
That's what good old Bartholomew Zuckerberg wants to do in the old metaverse.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the same feeling as when we watch those apocalypse movies.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Does anybody even know what that is?
No, nobody
Whatever.
knows. And God bless everyone for not knowing what you're talking about. Every time you bring those up,
it was scarring. Okay. But it's true. I mean,
there were these old like
Revelation movies.
Revelation Jesus coming back rapture movies
that were all wrong
in the 90s.
But they were right about so much.
They had to put these VR goggles on and basically pledge allegiance to the Antichrist, I think,
or else he would decapitate them.
You would get decapitated in real life
if you got decapitated in the metaverse,
right? And so anytime Jordan sees VR, that's what he thinks of. And frankly, I do too. I just don't verbalize it in the same way Jordan does. So
but this whole Lex Friedman thing where he was in that white, it really looked like it because they were in this white background.
That's true.
So that's why that looked like that. But yeah, it's creepy, man.
I hate it with my whole heart, I think.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think people are, and you may quote me, But I don't think people are going to even really use this because this is going to go into our deep thoughts later. But we're talking about AirPods and stuff like that. But I visited a college that my old college I hadn't been to in years. But I cannot imagine those kids using this because they don't like looking at each other. So why would you then have technology that makes people look at each other? It's like that. You wouldn't do it.
The ultimate Sigma, when it's all said and done, is going to be you in the metaverse looking down at your phone in the metaverse.
Yeah, that's literally what it's going to be.
You're going to have two screens going on at one time.
Yeah, a real screen that you're looking at, and then you're going to be looking at the phone. That's exactly what's going to happen. There's not going to be these personal one-on-one conversations. That will be rare. That'll be like a family reunion.
Dude, that is freaking what the Apple thing is when it comes on. Oh, I'm clicking on apps. I'm not looking at real things in front of me. I'm looking at apps, and I'm looking at. I got a screen showing me a screen.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. But the metaverse, if it really looks this real, it's actually going to be like people need that phone. They need that security.
Yeah.
So they're actually going to have phones in the metaverse.
That's why he was holding the flashlight. It was like some sort of comfort. Give me a blanket or something.
Yeah, seriously. So
I can hold this in front of your face. God help us all.
Yeah. Well, that's that. So that I can't unsee that, but I've been seeing that since I was 12 years old. So I haven't been able to unsee that for years.
You saw those apocalypse movies when you were younger than 12.
Two decades.
Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can't unsee that, but you can super recognize other things. Yes.
Yeah, Josh, so I'm watching The Office, okay?
I was going to say, that's the guy from the Benihana episode.
That's amazing. See, that's your recognition ability. That's
I know
incredible.
every episode of The Office.
So, yeah, this is an episode of The Office where, if you remember, Dwight is sitting far away and he's
you got to cut the chicken's neck, get all the blood and the guts out.
And so this couple, there's a guy and his wife. They're sitting next to each other between Dwight and Jim and Michael. And so anyways, I saw this guy and instantly this guy popped into my head. This looks like somebody very popular. Like exactly like them. Like a 50-year-old.
Somebody recently popular, like somebody that we would know now.
He looks like Mark Rober. The YouTuber.
He does.
He looks like a 60-year-old version of Mark Rober.
That is what Mark Rober.
I think it's Rober.
Rober will look like when he starts losing his hair. And maybe he is because he's always wearing that hat.
He's always wearing the hat.
Telltale sign. I haven't got there yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay, this is Thomas Massey.
Okay, yes.
Do you know who that is?
I do know who Thomas Massey is.
Are people going to know? So this is just
House of Representatives.
Yeah, so I saw a video of this guy, and this has been driving me nuts for like 2 days. And I've been trying to figure out who this looks like. So finally this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, that's who it is.
Willie Ames.
No.
Bible man.
No, that does look like him though. Okay. This looks like, do you remember Endurance? Look at Monroe.
I don't remember that guy, but he does look like him. Is that Thomas Massey as a child?
I don't know. It was the yellow team. It was such a great team because it was this kid who wasn't very coordinated with this girl who was extremely athletic, and they just mopped the floor with everybody, and they had to come together because they didn't like each other, and they had to come together and work, and they became great friends, and they didn't actually end up winning this season.
Endurance was like a kid Survivor.
Yeah, that I
for
watched
a few
when
years.
I was,
I never, I didn't really watch Endurance, so I didn't see this. But that guy does look like him,
dude. It was only on for 30 minutes every Saturday.
If you blink and you miss it. Blink and you miss it. There was no online back
reruns.
Then. There was nothing, dude. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Always enjoy those. From Bloomberg, nearly half of all young adults are living with their parents, and they're not ashamed to say it. Did you know that, Jordan? Did you know that nearly half of all young adults are still living with their parents? What is a young adult? I think it's like they're 20. So let's get into it. Dealt an onerous set of cards, including pandemic lockdowns, decades. By the way, I'm surprised that they said pandemic lockdowns, not just due to the virus.
Yeah. That's encouraging.
All right, so
good news or bad news? Good news.
We're moving in the right direction. Decades high inflation, soaring student debt levels, and a shaky job market. I can't believe this Bloomberg is saying that. Young people today are increasingly staying put. What's more, it's no longer seen as a sign of individual failure. Now, Jordan, we have been proponents of this for many years. We've told people, just stay home. Save your money.
That's right.
Don't feel like you have to move out as soon as you turn 18 or you go to college. I remember having professors that said, you really need to get the full college experience. You need to live on campus. I was like,
they're not saying
you going to pay for it, buddy?
I don't think they're saying that anymore.
They were saying in 2006.
Oh, yeah, not anymore. I mean, the vibe when I went to, it was just totally different.
Do you want to talk about that now or you want to talk about it during the AirPods?
No, we'll talk about that during the AirPods.
Okay, all right. COVID-19 lockdowns in 2020 drove the share of young adults living with parents or grandparents to nearly 50%, a record high. Now, there is a time where it would have said, fear of the virus has driven people back to a familiar place to be with the people they love. These days, about 23 million or 45% of all Americans ages 18 to 29 are living with family. Roughly the same level as the 1940s, a time when women were more likely to remain at home until marriage, and men, too, were lingering on family farms in the aftermath of the Great Depression. I feel like this is good news.
Well, does that mean that there's going to be another depression type of thing? Is that what this means?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're at a point that only some sort of collapse is going to be able to reset things.
It's pretty bad.
That's what I genuinely, and that makes me sad to think about, but I don't
know what it means though to have a collapse at this point, because especially in Nashville, I'm trying to imagine if it collapsed, it would just get driven up because everybody from California would move here.
I mean more of like a full societal collapse, not just a housing market collapse. But so that's like the pessimistic side of me, but the optimistic side of me still says that any time in history when things got better, it was in a way that people could not have anticipated. I think that when there's a time for genuine optimism, it'll be in a way that we literally can't fathom right now.
Yeah.
Okay? For many, the American dream is more like an American illusion, with nearly 3/4 of those surveyed saying young people are stuck navigating a broken economic situation that prevents them from being financially successful. A trend towards financial nihilism is also impacting the way younger generations work, invest, spend, and choose to live. Look no further than the wave of young people saying no to college, quiet quitting, and accepting that living at home with mom and dad is the new normal. To use a favorite word of yours, Jordan, it feels like not going to college is being normalized now.
Do I say normalized a lot?
No, you've complained about the word to me before.
Oh, yeah, normalized, yeah. I was like, I can't imagine myself saying that.
No, I know you get annoyed by that word, but I'm going to use it in a way that I think you'll appreciate.
Yeah, it's true.
That's interesting to me.
Because this is more, it's not necessarily normal for I'm going to say on an individual case, it can be a good thing, but when you see that like just this wide sweeping new thing, that's when it's kind of concerning. It's not like this isn't like a case by case basis. This is like everybody is doing this. Why?
That's what I wrote in my notes. I wrote I'm okay with this as long as the kids are working and investing in a skill. Like if you're a self-starter and it's literally just, why would I go spend money these obnoxious rent rates?
Yeah.
Or the expense, I'd rather just stay at home. If your parents are willing to let you stay home, and some parents won't, but if they'll let you stay home, just save your money, Yeah.
I
don't know. I feel like there was a stigma to that for a while because it was like, I don't want to meet somebody and then them find out I still live at home. So if it becomes more like, I'm still living with my folks too, it's honestly like, I remember with me and Kelly, it was nice that we both had this shared experience of, we're both living at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think it's hard now because there's a part of society that is not like that, and then there's a part that is, obviously. And so maybe that's why a lot of people are having trouble finding people these days. Obviously the porn thing too, but but maybe that's another thing too, is that people just have different mindsets on that at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like bad news to me, but it also feels like good news because it kind of seems like things are going to have to swing in some direction at this point.
It feels, let's just get into the conspiracy theory because I was wondering, is this on purpose? Jordan, I came across a tweet the other day and it got me thinking. It was a post of a woman talking about how much house her parents have been able to buy on 2 public school teacher incomes. And this guy says, to fix this, housing prices have to crash dramatically, and we have to stop telling people that houses are an investment. Politicians are afraid to do this because they get tarred and feathered by everyone who paid such exorbitant prices. And I thought, I guess that makes sense, and that is true. But also, I don't think that's actually going to happen. And that made me think it's just going to get more and more expensive and unaffordable for people. Is this on purpose?
She was saying that her parents could afford a lot on 2 income?
Yeah, she was saying that in the 90s they were...
Oh, in the 90s.
And she was saying how little she can afford now.
Yeah.
Doing the same kind of thing, I guess. So then this guy, Jonathan Blow, basically said the only way for this to be fixed is for housing prices to crash dramatically, but for a lot of people, that's one of your most significant investments. So that would be very unpopular for that to happen. And so I don't think that actually will. I mean, maybe it will, and that would be, I don't know. But that it just made me think, is the point of all this, everything that's being done that is making the housing market as expensive as it is it being done so that we all just have to become renters? Nobody can own a house anymore. You're just beholden.
You don't own the house. It's just a few people, pretty much.
Right. The ultra rich will own houses, and everybody else will rent. It's in the same way that we're becoming more of like a subscription rental society. You don't own music anymore. You subscribe to a subscription. You don't own movies anymore. You have a subscription. You don't own your house anymore. You have a subscription. Yeah. Oh, hey, and we'll roll your home insurance into it, and we'll do it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll take care of everything for you. Just stay in line.
Who knows? I have no idea. No idea. It just seems so deep. That seems like there's so many factors.
Do you think that what I'm saying is more likely, or just that eventually it's going to have to collapse? Because either it keeps getting more expensive like this, or it collapses significantly and resets itself. Do you think that it keeps getting more expensive and everybody has to rent forever?
I see. My thing is, I don't understand how that hasn't always been the case. How has it not always been the case that the ultra rich just bought every house because they could, if they wanted to? Why didn't that happen?
Right. That's how it feels right now because housing is so hot. There must be times where that doesn't feel like a good investment as much. But you're right.
I don't know.
But it's also a significant in time investment to do that kind of thing as well. I mean, I guess you can hire people. And some people, I mean, obviously all the apartment buildings and everything are owned by ultra rich people.
Yeah.
It's not a middle class Joe Schmo saying, I don't think I'll buy an apartment complex, and I don't know.
I love believing in these theories. It does feel like a lot of just stupidity, and then it just kind of happens, and now it's like, oh shoot.
Okay.
I want it to be by design so that we know who to take down. But if it's not by design,
it's
just
the
a bunch
bankers and the government and everybody. It's
like,
where do we start?
I don't know. I was recently around college students for the first time in a long time, and I'm not going to sit here and bash all the college students. Okay, that's not what I'm saying, because I met some of them and they were nice, but I go by a general feel. I remember how when I was in college, how that felt.
Yes.
So I went and spoke at my old school, my old college, and I decided to go walk around campus afterwards and just see, okay, because there's some new stuff I wanted to see. But then I just saw the people walking around, and this is the first time I had been on campus since smartphones were just rampant, because I didn't even have a smartphone when I was in college, even though I could have gotten one. I didn't want one. I got one after I graduated, and a lot of my friends didn't have smartphones at the time.
Yeah,
so it was a long time ago, 9+ years ago, and so I was just trying to. I didn't even mean to do this. I was just like walking around, looking at the new buildings and stuff, and I just kept taking note of just like the weirdness that it felt like, just how disconnected people felt, how everybody was looking down, just having this one guy walked past, had AirPods in. And then I saw on your Deep Thoughts, you were going to talk about how AirPods are ruining society.
Yeah.
And then it brought me back to when I was walking around campus and saw this, and it was just depressing. It was like, wow, this is, and then you show me this metaverse thing where they're like, talking to each other. I cannot see that happening. I cannot see people going into the metaverse and looking at each other in the eyes.
Mark's like, I helped create this society where no one looks at each other anymore. I have to fix it by starting conversations in the metaverse.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it.
Well,
I was like, wow. And so then I was, just get talking to different people there, and it's like, yeah, it's different than when you guys were here.
You hear about like this nihilism and stuff in the current generation. Yeah. I was at the Xfinity store, the Comcast store, whatever you call it, the other day, waiting, for my turn to get looked at for a phone or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like a 30, 40 minute wait. So I'm just standing there, and I just thought to myself, everybody else waiting here is going to be staring at their phone. I'm going to make an effort to just stand here and not look at my phone for the whole time that I'm here. Mm-hmm. And I had to pick it up a couple times to text Kelly or whatever, but for the most part, I just stood there and it was very peaceful. But everybody just, as soon as the big tough guys, the small women, like everybody, is just plops down, just pulls out their phone and is just staring at it.
Yeah.
And you're right. It feels very different being out. And so that made me think about something I have been thinking about, the AirPod thing. It feels like it's like the phones have disconnected us. And so if you're not looking at your phone, you've got your AirPods in, so you're still in your own little world.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that too. Because when I go out, okay, I got to go run to the store real quick, get some things for the family. I'm just like, I'll use this as an opportunity to get caught up on a podcast that I don't get to listen to or whatever. So I'm in my head, I'm doing it as an efficiency thing, but I'm realizing that sometimes people will talk to me and I have to be like, hang on, I can't, what'd you say? Hi, how you doing? I try to be nice, but also I've created a barrier where it's like if somebody wanted to interact with me.
Yeah.
And certainly when you go out and you see people with AirPods in, you don't talk to them because you feel like, well, they're not going to hear me anyway.
Oh, so you mean like wearing them in the store?
Yeah, in the stores.
Yeah. I did that one time when I first got my AirPods, and I never did it again.
Yeah.
I thought this is just weird.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that I thought people were just looking at me or anything, but I just thought like that epiphany of like, what am I doing?
Most of the time, if I'm at a store by myself, it's because I have a mission. I need to get something quick. I'm not just like looking around. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I'll get caught up on something while I'm doing this real quick. But I'm realizing that I don't think that
I think it's a net negative for society.
That's what I think too.
Yeah. You always have to think, if every single person in this store was doing this, how would it feel?
Exactly. That's
and not
exactly
just me
right.
As the exception.
If everybody had their AirPods in, would the world be better or worse? It would be worse. It would be much worse.
Or would it be better or worse in this grocery store right now? And the answer is, you would think this is horrifying.
Right.
So that is why I stopped.
Yeah. It made me think too that I feel like you started seeing more people using AirPods at the same time as all the pandemic stuff was going on. So there were like two big shifts happening at the same time. One, there was this situation created where it was like, I got to stay away from people. And then there was also this situation where it was like, and now I'm in my own little bubble with my AirPods in.
Yeah.
I'm really touched by what you said. That affected me to think about if everybody was wearing the AirPods, because in my head I'm like, well, I'm an exception because I'm a dad just trying to run to the store real quick and I just want to listen to something. I don't get much time if I'm working on the computer, it's because I'm having to listen to things. I don't get to listen to a podcast. Yeah. When I go out, I'm going to listen to a podcast, but by doing that, I am helping creating a
worse
bad
society for your kids.
That's exactly
your kids
right.
Went and they saw everybody with AirPods in or everybody with masks on, and they were the only ones not.
That's exactly right, man.
Yeah.
All right, this has been
negative.
This has been a downer episode. We need some hope.
I didn't even write one down.
That's how bad things are. I've got a good one. All right, we got to do Jordan's first. I don't know. He wrote 25-mile-an-hour school zone.
Well,
better than a 15-mile-an-hour school zone.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the backwoods somewhere, and there was like a 25 miles per hour speed zone, like for a school zone, and I thought, wow, this is
we're really moving up.
We're moving up. You're going through a 15-mile-an-hour speed zone. It's like, dude, come on, this is ridiculous. Okay, but I thought, okay, are these? I was thinking, so how did they justify this? out here? Was it that there was less cars, or is it that we care about our kids less, or was it like we know that this is dumb, so we're gonna make it 10 plus over what it normally
Why
is?
not make it 35?
I know
45.
I actually think it might have been 35. I think it might have been a 50 plus mile an hour one, and they slowed it to 35. But I didn't want to say that just in case it wasn't. But yeah, I remember going through that and thinking, there's not much hope right now in this world. But this 25 mile an hour speed
society
school
healing.
zone, it's society realizing that we don't need to keep everybody 100% safe constantly. Give them a little life lesson. Almost get hit by a car and back away. It's like, wow, I should look around before I cross the street.
What
One
of the jokes I'm most proud of in my life is the Batman video we did, where you say if your child runs out in the middle of the road, they deserve to get hit a lot harder than 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, mine is an article from Newsweek. I'm actually going back to the roots of it gave me hope. Articles. This is from Newsweek. A growing number of fathers are ditching gender roles and homeschooling their children post-pandemic, a survey has found. More hope post-pandemic, Jordan, okay? The number of dads who are responsible for educating their homeschooled kids significantly climbed from 2019 to 2023. The Washington Post survey of more than 1,000 parents of children aged 5 to 20 showed. While mothers are still the primary homeschool educators, the number of dads who occupy this role jumped from 5% to 40% in just 4 years. I don't know if this is because, like, in my head, when we're homeschooling, if I got a poll like this, I would say, yeah, I am the primary. And Kelly would say, yeah, I'm the primary too. So I don't know if it's like, okay, mom went during the pandemic, mom now goes to work and dad stays home and homeschools the kids. I think it's more probably like our situation where it's like,
it's
the dads are just becoming more involved in homeschooling their kids, which I think is super great.
Yeah, I don't think that whatever that poll was, that seems. Are they saying it seems concerning or something? Or are they just saying it's not ditching
this was
gender
a very positive article.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm finding all these positive articles saying like, the pandemic stuff was terrible, and so
I don't know. That is suspicious.
What's going on?
I don't know.
That should have been the conspiracy. Why are we all of a sudden allowed to say pandemic lockdown instead of due to the virus?
That's what I'm wondering. And then they're trying to tell us
what's going on.
That they're trying to tell us that masks and vaccine stuff and all that's going to come back in November. But now
is that still happening?
I don't know. That's what they said.
They tried that for a month or for a week, and I don't think it polled well, and they decided to go away.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's not going to win us the election. Okay, let's make everything positive. Let's say how it was bad, and then we'll step away from it, and we'll say that was Trump, which it kind of was. So and they're not wrong in doing this. Who are you voting for? I'm voting for Vimaswamy. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Like I said, I am rooting for collapse now. So. Just whichever side gets us there quicker is what I'm voting for. I'm still up for debate. Okay. All right.
Okay, I didn't have a recommend, but we're going to go with one of my facial recognitions, endurance. I'm pretty sure that you can find... This
seems like a show that's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it probably is, but it's a great show, and if you feel depressed about people that are disconnected, go back and watch the generation past and see how they connected with each other, and it will be inspiring to you. Dude, that's what it's all endurance was.
I bet the next generation of like reality shows are going to be shows. Oh, dude, this is a great idea. Are going to be shows where they just put people in a room, no phones, no nothing, and they just have to talk to each other. That's going to be the whole show,
and they'll figure out what the show is about.
And it'll almost be like what that show Big Brother kind of was at the start, but now the focus of it will be no distractions.
Yeah.
No winners, no losers. Literally, just can you talk to each other? Can you
survive in a room? For a month together without.
I think Mr. Beast is working on a video about that right now. Actually,
which good for him. You know, I feel
like
we've been dogging on Mr. Beast a lot, but like, if he does stuff like that, that's meaningful.
Yeah,
like figure out a way to make meaningful content.
Yeah,
that's not just blowing trains up and crashing these nice things.
Yeah, find ways to kind of ask questions
about society.
Yeah,
in the current state that he's created, and show how it's bad and fix it. It's just like Zuckerberg making the metaverse, looking at each other that's what Mr. Beast needs to do. He needs to create the bad society where people are all distracted, and then make videos about how it's destroying society and how we need to fix it.
They're really like a government. They break everything, and they're like, we're here to fix it now.
Exactly.
Okay, we will fix it. Just pay us. This is only going to apply to a certain segment of people, but it's called Autopod. It's my recommendation of the week. It's basically an AI. No, we've dogged this all. Here's a good use of AI. This thing will multicam edit for you. If you have a podcast or something with multiple camera angles, you just set all your parameters, press go. It trims it all up for you. I pay for it every month because I work with some folks where I have to edit a podcast with multi-cams once a month. Yeah. So it's worth it to me. Yeah. I think it's like $30 a month to pay for it, but $30 a month, I save like 3 hours. Yeah. So it's fantastic.
I still haven't used that. I'll also recommend, if anybody out there has a Canon, you might not even know this.
Okay, tell me.
But if anybody out there owns a Canon camera, Canon has made the software called EOS Utility Cam, I think.
Yeah, I've heard of this, yeah.
And it literally turns your camera, your nice, super nice camera with a nice lens, into a webcam.
Yeah, I told you about this. Yeah, okay. You were asking about it.
Yeah, well, I've used it like extensively. Have you used it at all?
Is it good?
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay. So it's easy. So if, for example, if I was gonna do some kind of thing, I could just plug this camera really easily into my laptop.
We could literally live stream this episode right now, and it would look exactly the same.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You could use the teleprompter. You could everything, and it would look exactly the same.
You heard it here first, guys.
You could have a second camera, and it's super easy, and it only costs like $5 a month.
Oh, there's a subscription? More subscription. You can't own anything.
No, it's a subscription.
See, this is how they justify it. They say, well, you want to get all the updates. You don't want to...
No, this is going to be illegal at some point. Something's going to happen. It's going to get so bad. I mean, they were trying to do this with Unity. Well, that's another conversation for another day.
Oh, yeah, we never got into that. I never understood enough about it to talk about it.
I learned enough about it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah. We should talk about that.
We should do that next episode.
Okay, we'll talk about Unity. Maybe there'll be more to...
Yeah,
like
it's
a fluid situation. Yeah. That was fun. That was a good episode. Very sad, but I feel like it got better there at the end. Thank you all for being here for another episode. Come back next Friday. We'll be here with another episode. And go check out the Clips channel every day. New clips at Blimey Cow Clips on YouTube. Anything else, Jordan?
No, I think that's it. I hope that I can... it's like it was supposed to rain, and it hasn't rained at all. So go figure. Some days it says it's not going to rain, then it hails at my house. So
maybe next week you'll be able to tell us you finished it.
Maybe.
All right.
See you guys. Bye-bye.